All right, good morning, everybody. Let's see, we're back in the M5 again. I just want to say welcome to really part 4 of our series. So I know this could get confusing, the difference between the kind of my planned parts to these series versus answering the Q&As, you know, the questions you guys send me. So we've done 3 parts to this series, and we've done 7 Q&A sessions. So really what I want to talk to you today is, this is part 4, and I'll probably title it like get your act together or get your shit together. Just get organized. That's really the point of this whole video, part 4, which is just get yourself organized and burn those habits in. So I'm going to talk to you today about to-do lists and scheduling, and the kind of the benefits of those and how I do it. And I'll actually show you, I'll show you what my to-do list looks like today and how I do it, and I'll show you what my calendar looks like as well. So those are the 2 biggest things that you can do to get yourself organized. And then, can you get the habits burned in so that they become truly habitual before you go make your life more complicated by either going and starting a company or taking the one you have now and starting to grow it and make it even more of a burden to your day. The other concept I want to get to you today is this concept of stop letting life surprise you. Life throws very few real surprises at us. And we've talked about some of this in my prior Q&A videos, but I wanted this to be a specific topic of one planned video, and that is push events away from you. Get the event horizon of which you're looking at further and further away from you. I suspect many of you, because most people live their lives by what does life throw at you today? And so you live life most likely in a pretty reactive mode. What does your job require of you today? What does life require of you today? What does your family require of you today? And there are ways that you can actually, get proactive and get those things on a calendar so you know they're coming at you days, weeks, even months ahead of time. So I've heard several people say over the years that, they're unhappy with life, or they want more out of life. Things are a little disorganized. Life catches them by surprise too much, and really they feel the best way to fix their lives is to go become their own boss, start their own company. And it's a little bit like saying, hey, my relationship with my girlfriend or my wife isn't very good, but if we have a kid, if we have a child together, that will really cement the relationship, which is just insane. If the base fundamentals of your life or your relationship aren't steady, throwing more on that foundation, that broken, crumbling foundation, will almost certainly break your life, your habits, and any relationships you have. So the idea here on this one is, what do we need to do to build that life foundation so that it is strong enough and stable enough to throw yet another giant brick into what you call your life? Because that is exactly what you're doing. When you start a company, it lives or dies based on you. It lives, breathes, or dies based on your actions, your decisions, your ability to keep it moving. No one else. It is solely your responsibility. So the first thing you can do to build a foundation is really put a to-do list together. And I know that sounds really stupid, but I'll be willing to bet most of you don't have a to-do list. You probably have a sticky somewhere. Maybe you got a little list on notes on your iPhone, but you don't have something that you maintain on a regular basis. And that's the first step. And I'll show you mine. I'll take a break after this little bit, and I'll break into this, and I'll show you what mine actually looks like. So mine, the way I actually do it is I do it in Microsoft Word, and I probably update it every 3 or 4 or 5 days, and I scratch on it all day during the days in between when I update it. And that's it. I don't have a system. I don't have it, it's not integrated into my platform. It's not pre-programmed. And I think one of the faults, I believe, or why people partially don't maintain to-do lists is we're looking for it to be like an integrated platform. I need it integrated into my email or my texts or my social media or whatever. And I have found that the simplest way is really the best for me. Again, I'm talking about for me in my life. But what changed it for me was simply creating a list on the computer. I tried to keep it to a page. And when I was running the company, I would have a company to-do list and a personal to-do list and a horse farm to-do list. Now I maintain one, but it's in Microsoft Word. It's a single sheet. I'll break in here and show it to you. All right, everybody, this is me breaking in and just showing you this. This is my actual to-do list. It's one sheet of paper. I got a bunch of sheets back here, but it's all video ideas, and the tracking this series. But this is my sheet right here. I don't know what you can see. It's dated the 24th. What is that, 6, 7, 8 days ago? So I've not even typed this in. I've not typed in my updates. But look how messy this thing is. You can see things. I got fall action items down here. I've got long-term action items. I've got medical stuff in here. And look at all this stuff that I've written on and scratched off and done. And this is how messy my to-do list is. Microsoft Word, one sheet of paper. And when it gets this bad, I have to go in and update it, type all this, clean this up. But I just wanted to see how basic, how simple, how stupid this can be. But this basically contains what I need to be looking at over the next several weeks or next couple of months even. All right, so I'm pre-filming this, but I presume I just showed it to you. You can see it's got like 30 or 40 items on it. It's got personal items, it's got medical items, it's got horse farm items, it's got vehicle items, but it's all in one place. And I have to look at it because I print it and it sits on my desk and I have to look at it every morning. So I try to plan my day to get one or two things off the list. And you saw how messy it is, right? It is a messy way of doing it. I scratch and scribble on it all day. Every time I think of something I got to do, I write it with a pen. And sometimes I get rid of it before I type it in. So that's why you see a bunch of items scribbled on the sides and then scratched out. Just get it done. Stop looking for some cool system. Get a list done right now. I mean, even now, push pause. Get out a sheet of paper and just write out all the things that you are weighing on you, either that other people are waiting on you for, or that you need to get done, whether it be doctor's appointments, dentist appointments, car maintenance, something around the house or the apartment, something your wife or girlfriend expects you to do, whatever it is, just write it all down on one list. And it might be a little intimidating at first, but at least get it written out and get it down. So once you have it written down, type it in. I don't care what you use, Notepad, Word, whatever. But by typing it in, one, you won't lose it. Because that's the other nightmare is you put it somewhere and you end up deleting it, right? You put it in a text and you delete the text. Or you keep it on stickies and the stickies fall apart or fall down and you forget things. So type it in, put it somewhere you're going to, be able to keep it and not forget where it is. And then prioritize it. Go through it now and say, what are the top 1, 2, 3 things? You can organize the whole list if you want, but I'm worried you'll burn up a lot of time. Is the 30th thing more important than the 31st? I mean, don't spend too much time down there, right? It's the top 4 or 5. What's the number one thing you want to get done today? Get it ranked. Even put like the top 3 or 4, and then just leave all the rest numbered the way you have it now, and go get the first one done. So, and then print it and keep it with you because you need a way to scratch pad it. So again, I write it, I print it and I write with a pen. That's pretty old-fashioned. Again, I'm a 55-year-old guy, so I got a little bit of old in me. But the concept is get the list, get it typed, get it entered into something, get it prioritized, at least the top 3 or 4, and put it somewhere in a manner that you can take notes on it. So let's switch to the second subject, and that's getting some sort of calendar function into your life. Again, I'll tell you how I do it. I don't really care how you do it, but you've got to do this. You've got to get some way to plan out your future. And that's, I mean, for today, for the rest of this week, for the next few months, and really for the rest of this year, 2019, and then can you get 2020 moving as well? So I use Microsoft Calendar. I use it. It's in Outlook. It's part of the Microsoft Office suite. I'm not saying that's how you have to do it, but it's easy for me to invite people to things if I use the integrated package. So I can create a meeting, whether it be a lunch or a meeting or something else, a trip, and I can invite by email somebody to it. And I like that function. People can accept it. I know who's in, who's out. And then it's in my calendar. And I put, again, I'll do the same thing. I'll stop this video in a minute and I'll break out. And again, I'm pre-recording this. So, but what I'm going to show you is I'm actually going to walk you through the next few screens, and I'll show you busy weeks and conflicting things and light weeks, and I'll walk you through what my calendar actually looks like. Alright guys, here's my second break-in, and here's my actual calendar. You can see over here, you can go by month if you want, but this is how I view mine. This is my weekly view, and you can see I got my dog. I adopted a dog back in 2012. I've got to run payroll for my farm. The McLaren got picked up. I had to be in Troy for 3 days with my boy. My daughter has a 2-hour early dismissal. My son's college had homecoming this day. My daughter's out of school last Friday. And you can see I got my weight session with my trainers in here. My update on my ZR1 call. Lunch with my buddy from work. So you can kind of see how I have it all laid in here. And then I can go up and I can just scroll through my weeks. So here's this week, and you can see I had to go get my daughter. She went up to see my son. And then I had lunch with my mother-in-law, with a buddy of mine, my trainer. They're my weight sessions. I'm flying off to Chicago for a few days. There's a guy I gotta pay every month to maintain my kid's yard. So I can keep going here for a minute. I gotta run payroll again. I got a doctor's appointment. Here's me returning from Detroit. I fly to Chicago and back from Detroit. There's my wife's birthday. And so this is just what my calendar looks like week after week. I can go week after week. Right? There's Columbus Day. There's my daughter coming home 2 hours early. There's my weight sessions. See, some of these weeks are pretty light. That's the retired guy calendar. Got Halloween in there. U.S. Grand Prix there at Circuit of Americas. And then I'm actually going for my race. Here you go, the following week. I'm flying out of United to Austin. So guys, there's a dentist appointment. So it's all integrated, and it all has reminders set up. None of this should surprise me. And I can do this. I go out. I can go all the way through 2020 like this and know what I've got in my calendar. But this is a great way to stop letting life surprise you. And you'll see, in mine, I've got like my daughter's high school calendar. I know when she's goes in late. I know when she's got early dismissal. I know her days off, her 3-day weeks, her Christmas break, her spring break. They're all in there. And for all of this year and all of her senior year, our school's published calendars 2 years out. And so I have my daughters all the way through graduation of high school, which is almost 2 years away, all in my calendar right now. I have all, I follow the Christian holiday. I imagine most of you do. So all the U.S. holidays are in there. I also have my son's college calendars in there, so I know when his test weeks are. I know when his breaks are. Now, that doesn't mean he'll be coming home during those times. That part will be a surprise to me. But what I have in one calendar is everything I've made a commitment to, all my meetings, all my gym sessions, any lunches I have with my friends, any trips I have scheduled, like I have the McLaren Pure event where I'm going for a 3-day advanced track race, where I'm actually on the track for 3 days with a race driver in the side seat with me. That's already in there. November 10th, 11th, 12th. It's in there. So in one place, my kids' calendars, my calendars, holidays, everything's out there as far out as I can do it. So at least through the end of 2020, I know pretty much those big events around me. I even put in birthdays, I put in anniversaries, key things. Even if they're only annual, I put them in there and I make them a recurring event, and I tell it to do it annually, and it's always in there for me. So another advantage to using an automated calendar product, whatever one you choose, is that you have the ability to set reminders. And so in my calendar, depending on what it is, I can say, hey, I want to know about this 4 hours before it, or I want to know about this a day before it. And in some cases, I would put, like when I was running my company, I had a lot of annual reviews to do, performance evaluations. And so I'd put them all in my calendar, and I'd give myself a 2-week reminder, and it would say, hey, this thing is due in 2 weeks. And that gave me plenty of time to get it done, so it didn't surprise me. And my wife's birthday is like 2 weeks. I have 2 week advance notice. Our anniversary, I've got a week. So these things notify me. They remind me a week, 2 weeks, a day, 2 days ahead of time, so things don't surprise me. So the next thing we want to do is try to integrate the two. And that's right, you have this to-do list in whatever product you have it in, and you've got this calendar with all these things in it now. And they're pre-notifying you, and maybe you're inviting people to it so they're integrated as well. And so the next step really is to take your action item list, and some of these things have due dates that are set externally. I mean, I'll give you an example. I just did my 2007 Mustang, that GT500. Yesterday I got the email that it was time to renew it. So I actually just did it, by the way. So I got the notice yesterday and it's done today. But that's something you could put out and say, hey, the Mustang registration renewal is due by November 30th. And put it out there on November 30th and put a 2-week or 3-week reminder on it. If you can't get to it today or tomorrow, get it on your to-do list and get it in your calendar so it doesn't blow you up. If you have products that are due, if you have papers that are due, if you have a test that's coming up, whatever it is, get it off your to-do list. I mean, leave it on your to-do list, but also record it into your calendar and give yourself a reminder notice with enough lead time on that reminder notice for you to actually get on it. So now you've got a good to-do list, you've got a great calendar, you've got good reminders set up. You are far more in control of your day than you were, before we started this video. So how do you use these? Right now, these are all just passive things, right? A list, a calendar, reminder notices. So how do you use this to control your life, control your day a little bit better? And you've got to keep them with you in some way. I mean, I don't recommend carrying paper around all the time, but in whatever system you have, you need to have a way to review it before you answer questions or make commitments. So if somebody says, hey, is there any way you could come over and do this? Whatever it is, your buddy needs you to help move. Don't just blurt out, yeah, absolutely. Take the time, say, yeah, let me look at my calendar, I'll get back to you. And I know that sounds weird, particularly if you're younger and you're not used to talking that way. But you want to train yourself and everybody around you, your work, your family, your friends, that you make commitments, with malice of forethought. You really do plan things out. You do look for conflicts. And so you really want to say, hey, let me look at what I've committed. Let me look at my dates, and I'll get back to you. And then you actually go look and say, man, I cannot get there this Saturday, but Sunday's good, right? And you make a commitment to Sunday, and then you put it in your calendar. But at work, where this really matters is when people say, hey, is there any way, do you have 5 minutes? And you can say, yeah, but that 5 minutes is probably more like 30 to 60 minutes. and it blows you up because you had commitments and you blew them up. And so particularly in the professional world, tell people, yeah, I can absolutely give you those 5 minutes, but it can't be today. It's got to be tomorrow at 2 or Friday at 10 a.m. Or, this week is already murdered for me. I've got a huge deliverable on Monday. Can we do it on Tuesday? And you start doing that. That's a muscle you have to exercise. I mean, it's probably something you're not doing very well right now. And I don't mean that personally, but I just find most people don't talk that way naturally. Most people aren't naturally good at reviewing the commitment they're about to make before they actually make it. So the next thing you need to do is a daily practice. And I recommend 7 days. We tend to think in terms of work week, but I'll tell you, if you do it 7 days a week, it burns it in. One of the first things you should do in the morning when you get up is review your actions. Like, literally go through your action item list and go through your calendar. And you should be able to say, what does your day look like today? What does your day look like tomorrow? What does this rest of this week look like? And what does next week look like? You should be getting that good where every day you're pushing that out a ways. Like, hey, I now really know what today looks like, and I know what tomorrow looks like. And then as you do this over the next few weeks, you'll get further and further out, and pretty soon you'll know what this week and next week looks like. The commitments you've made, the meetings you have, the deliverables coming at you, the birthdays, the anniversaries, it's all laid out there, and you have a really good idea every single day, what does the next 2 weeks look like? So you can see what we have is a whole bunch of boring things that we have stuck together to really give your life control, to get yourself not surprised by what the day is about to bring you or the week is about to bring you. But my God, does this take discipline? This is like saying you got to work out every day, or you have to eat right every day. You have to get up and make a decision to make this a priority. You have to maintain your action item list. You have to maintain your calendar. And then you have to look at the damn things every day. And if you can build that sort of repetitive, good habit, it will fundamentally change how prepared and how proactive you are. It will erase 90 to 95% of what has been surprising you or catching you by surprise in your life. So this goes to another whole set of themes I have for these videos, and that is totally executable steps. None of this stuff is complex, right? I just walked you through about 5 or 6 things that are incredibly simple to do. And I believe they're easy to do in this case. I believe these are very simple, very easy things to do. The hard part is will you do it? And will you stick to it? Or are you going to try it for a couple days and then you just don't have the discipline to do it? Because this system will fall apart very quickly. If you go 2, 3, 4 weeks without looking at your action item list, and you just kind of go back to letting life kick you all day long, if you stop updating your calendar, if you stop reviewing it, this whole thing falls apart in a matter of weeks. So that's the hard part. Do you have the discipline? But that's what I'm trying to teach here, okay? I'm trying to teach in these videos very, very simple things to do that when done in a repetitive fashion completely changes your life. All right, another really difficult topic. So we've talked about to-do lists, calendars, putting them together, reminders, get events weeks and months, even a year ahead of time on your calendar. Get reminders giving you enough time to get it done. And then we've touched on this next one, and that is stop procrastinating. And stop saying, well, I'm just a procrastinator, or that's just who I am, that's just how I am. You've got to stop that kind of thinking, and you have to change the kind of person you are if you want to do your own business. If you want to run your own company and run it successfully, you cannot be a procrastinator, in my opinion.